Hi,
Hi,
I'm Nick,
I'm Jill.
and we're HipStrings, and we actually did it.
Yeah?
We actually did like another live stream
Yeah,
past
for like the first
Base
time we've
12.
promised this so many times, and we
Right?
finally followed through.
So, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026.
It probably helps if I have my mic on.
Yeah. That would help.
Give me a
Go
second.
up your skirt.
It's a tunic.
I'm going to go ahead and start.
Well,
Not because I'm trying to cheat, but because we already agreed to this ahead of time.
Yeah, and you're two-plying. And I forgot to put my mic under my gun.
And
I left.
comments.
It's a comedy of errors.
Doing
this is
this
why
right.
we haven't done this.
Yeah. See if I'm much worse at playing than I am at spinning.
You didn't even ply your Base12 last year. I did.
Yeah. You've brought that up multiple times.
Yeah.
Someone a little bit bitter.
No, I was just trying to make you feel bad so that you could do it.
Well, I did. I felt plenty bad.
Okay. I've got my little foamy bit.
Cool.
So Nick is two-plying. I am chain-plying. So ideally, I should not take as long as he is.
That's assuming we spun about equivalent quantities, right?
Yeah.
Equivalent lengths, which we didn't measure our lengths or anything.
Nope.
These are fresh, off the bobbins, from Base 12.
Not super fresh.
You know why that happened?
Why?
Because you told me that you were going to show people your wheel and you didn't.
Oh, so that's why my wheel
It was
just...
karma. That's
It
why
was
your
karma.
wheel just exploded.
So I'm not spinning on my Sparrow because the Sparrow bobbins aren't big enough. So I'm spinning on a wheel that does have big enough bobbins. So I'm spinning on my low on Buddy. I'm going to show you guys it because it is beautiful. So this wheel comes unfinished, which I take as an invitation to personalize it.
If you tilt it up some, maybe that'll...
Stained it with a deep, like aubergine stain, and then we did a heat transfer vinyl of a iridescent vinyl. That's the second spindle design because I have a Louette that I designed that has my first spindle design on it. So, but that explosion is because the distance between the rear and the front maiden is a little bit farther apart than it ought to be. So the shaft for the flyer doesn't go into the rear bearing as much as it should. And so sometimes if you're not careful, it will just all go kablooey.
Oh, you also have that weird... Oh, you fixed that with the
I
wheel.
fixed that.
Interesting.
I know that this is the thing, and probably because of I had too much upward pull when I was chain playing. So I'm going to adjust my clampy cape back here.
Yeah, so we're doing all sorts of weird configurations here and set up to be able to do this. I just swapped over to a jumbo flyer. I'm still on my same old wheel. By the way, we already have some commenters.
Yeah.
So, Iron Meg, Waves High. Natalie Grant says, wow. And Diane says, gorgeous. We had a lot of fun with playing around with staining and painting.
Yeah, and I was looking back on photos, and I was putting together this wheel this time last year.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's about a year old.
Yeah. I mean, I bought it after SSK a year and a half ago.
And that was because of Jillian's bad
That was
influence.
because Jillian got an early one, and I tried it out, and I immediately needed to have one.
Yeah.
My singles have a lot of twists.
Wow.
And it just exploded again. This is not boding well for me.
Yeah, you're not selling this wheel pretty well.
No, I'm not. This is like
That's the first time that's ever happened.
No, it's been happening. Like it really is that there's not enough length on the rear.
Is it something that we can adjust, we can modify?
I've been thinking about how to fix this. I almost think that this
really,
needs to be tight.
That.
This needs to be shortened.
Yeah. Or is there something you can do in the meantime while we're?
I might need to change where this. I know why. It's because I'm pulling up. There's not. Since this just rests in a cup for the bearing, it's really easy to pull the flyer up, and because I've got this up, I might just have to switch to a lazy cape that's on the ground.
Well, do you want me to?
I have another lazy cape behind me.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say I could use your clampy cates.
I've got the lazy cape that comes with the low on.
I'm worried that I don't have enough twist in this.
You might want to speed up your wheel a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you move your phone?
Sure.
I like to have my lazy kate at a certain position when I'm doing chain flying, and I don't want it on the ground. So having it right behind me is better.
So
let's see if I can fix this.
Why don't we talk about that? Because I like having mine on the ground. What makes you want to have a different position for your lazy
when
cate?
I'm chain flying?
Yeah.
I don't want to be pulling too much on my single. And if it's up off the ground, I just find I get more pigtails. And I get more even.
If it's on the ground, you get more pigtails.
Yeah, because the tension changes on it more. If I have it behind me, then I can keep the tension better. See, now that I've changed things, my wheel has not exploded on me.
Yeah. Don't count your chickens yet.
I'm being very careful not to pull up on my orifice.
So, if you'll recall, Jill spun everything in order. I spun everything random.
So I'm starting with day 10.
But what's interesting is that my spinning actually ended up being mostly cool at the beginning and mostly warm at the end.
So is your barber pole?
So I'm very strongly barber poling. And I was a little bit worried about that until I saw the photos that Shayna had posted.
Yeah.
Which just looked gorgeous. And I'm like, yeah, I want that. I'm excited about that.
Oh my gosh. Too much twist in my singles.
I have no idea what I'm going to do with it.
We'll find something fun.
Yeah. I feel like we need to do a shawl again, right?
Yeah. I think it would be cool to do it as part of a hood.
Tell me more.
Well, like I've knit 2 hoodalas.
Yeah.
Which I think those take, about 2 skeins of yarn or 2.5.
Okay.
So I would bet like the 6 ounces would be enough for like the hood bit, and then do the ribbing around the neck as a coordinating thing.
That would be
I'll have to see what. Oh.
Or why not the opposite? Why not have the
That would be too much ribbing for 6 ounces of fiber.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
The hood is the big part. The ribbing doesn't take as much.
I gotcha. So, the shop is open again.
It is. We were able to get inventory done in a record-breaking time.
Anything you want to highlight about what's going on in the shop?
Lots of stuff got fixed. So there is new stuff in the shop. And I have a big bin of stuff that I thought I had photographed. And obviously, I lost a memory card or something because there are no pictures to be had of those items. So they are back in the photo studio to get photographed.
Come on, start going. Wait, no.
And I'm starting the process of planning for dyeing for Maryland and for restocking the shop and dividing up new fibers and stuff. So, like, toe flax got updated today, and natural colors of BFL got updated today.
I'm having some wheel issues of my own.
It's your drive band getting loose.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Oh, good.
I love it when I can, like, just ply with one hand. I can't ever spin with one hand, but plying with one hand, I can sometimes get going.
I also got the listing for pre-orders to order more of the Base12 stuff is up. There's no photos.
You guys know what you want.
You guys know what you want. You've seen it.
That's the way to drive engagement on the YouTube channel. What you should do is just don't put any photos. Just say, go to this webpage.
Yeah.
Go to this video.
So if you need more to finish a project that you have in mind, you can go ahead and pre-order that stuff. And that stuff will be, I mean, I dye all the comb top in batches of 5. So there will eventually be some ready to ship stuff, but bats are always made to order because it's always best to spin fresh bats.
Yeah, and you don't sell partial bats, so.
Well, yeah, and these are, they're 2-ounce bats.
Yeah.
So, and the hand dyed, it's in 4 ounces. But also, I put up what was supposed to be the December bat of the month, Winter Mint Chocolate Chip. So if you're looking for a fresh made-to-order bat, Winter Mint Chocolate Chip is in the shop, and that will stick in the shop for, while I can make it.
That is one of those that has limited supply.
It'll be limited
silk,
inventory.
Right?
I don't think it's that the silk is going to be limited. I think it's some of the colors of merino.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not reordering the dyed merino. I'm going to transition over to hand-dyed merino for my bats so I can use better quality merino. So, it's going to be a year of transition. Moving the shop to what works best for me.
I mean, this is the classic thing that... Oh, got a big pigtail here. Apple liked... I don't know if Apple still does this. I don't follow Apple as much as I used to, but Apple used to always have a, here's our improvement year, here's our innovation year. I don't know if 2025 was necessarily an innovation year, but we definitely need an improvement year. So
it was a year that forced some change, some necessary change.
Yeah. Let's see. We got the 3D printer set up.
Yeah.
And then I had a little bit of health hiccups, so I haven't gotten everything set up to start on the
spinning
dishes yet.
Well,
but they're
it works
coming soon.
out because I got a notification that the glass isn't going to get here till like February.
Oh, gosh.
So there's a backlog. I'm getting my glass. So we have some on hand for an initial run, but
Yeah. Okay.
we won't be able to go into full
blast.
Full blast production.
Okay. Well, good.
I also need you to make spindle shafts and sand weaving cards.
Oh, gosh, when is that going to happen?
I don't know. When you're feeling up to it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Iron Meg says, ooh, 3D printer immediately got my attention. Yeah, maybe we haven't talked about the 3D printer that we got.
Yeah.
So because this is a live stream and we want to use up time and entertain you, I'm going to tell a long story. So I'm not going to say just what we got. A long time ago, when 3D printing was first a thing, I ended up getting a Mendel type kit, which it was literally just threaded rod with a couple of 3D printed parts and like a set of instructions
and nuts
Lots and bolts nuts. And I mean it had the hot end, it had all the other stuff, but it was pieces, like fully had to put it together, align it, everything. So it was pretty good. And then came a company called PrinterBot, which turned everything upside down in the industry, made great open source information, but also utilized things like stamped steel for some of the frame and everything. And that was great, and I had that for the longest time. And then the main board died. And because it was open source, I was able to, originally I was going to try and buy a new board, but by that point, not only had the board died, but the company had died. But everything was still open source. And that was a PrinterBot Metal Plus, I should have said. But I was able to download new firmware, find a new board, modify the firmware for the new board, all sorts of great fun stuff. Made the printer better than it was before. Added some new features to it. It was great. And then we heard about, and there's like years between decades.
Yeah.
Like, so probably another
5 years ago.
5, 10 years later. And then there was this company called Prusa that they had finally come out with some fantastic features. And I got a Prusa Mark IV. And for that one, I decided, all right, I've gone from the base, building 3D printer from all directions, scratch. If I can buy it pre-built, I'm going to buy it pre-built. And Prusa had a good reputation, so I decided to test that. And oh my God, my PrinterBot Metal Plus was good. The Prusa was light years beyond it. It made everything so much easier. It made everything so simple. And we had a lot of fun with it. We did a bunch of prototypes for various different things. I have, I built the frame for the prototype for the Sharky, which we haven't talked about. And then, so that brings us to, okay, what were we going to buy for HipStrings? Originally, I made that spinning dish prototype on my Prusa Mark IV with a multi-material unit head, or adapter. But we knew that if we wanted to do things on a production basis, we were going to need something that had a larger bed, a little bit more innovation in terms, or a little bit more speed. And Prusa had a great innovation with two of their printer types. The Prusa 1.
The Core.
Prusa Core 1, yeah. And the Prusa XL. And not to bore everybody with the final details, but basically they have a printing head per filament type. So there's a moving thing that goes and picks up a head and picks up, this is your filament 1, prints with that, goes, drops it off, picks up the second one, this is your filament 2. So that makes things a lot less waste, a lot faster. And so just because of the bed size, what's interesting is the Core 1 is a larger volume than the XL, but it's a vertical volume.
And we don't need vertical volume.
We're not making tall things. We're making short things, but we need a lot of them. So we got the Prusa XL.
With 2 heads.
With 2 heads, because we don't need more than 2 material types for now.
Yep.
And
we're excited about different materials, not different colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, for some other products, we might be excited about the different colors. But yeah, that's the long story. So we got a Prusa XL with 2 different heads, and maybe we'll show a video of it running at some point in time.
Yeah. You know what's not fun?
What?
Because it's winter.
Yeah.
And you run your single when you're chain plying through one of your knuckles.
Ooh.
And your skin cracks.
Ooh.
And then your single's catching on your skin.
Ouch.
So I'm having to change.
Blood is not an appropriate lubricant, Jill.
No, I'm avoiding using that finger now.
Good. Iron Meg says, Prusa is great for open source. I know it's a bit on the other side. I'm a bamboo person. Yeah, I mean, we can go down a big rabbit hole with that. I think I haven't had any personal experience with bamboo, and I know there was a bit of a controversy related to some of their software. But I also know they're a little bit more affordable, and everybody says they're about equivalent performance to
and I like
the Prusas.
supporting Prusa's business model.
Yeah.
So.
And then Iron Meg also says, I have the H2D with 2 heads. I really enjoy that one. Yeah, so we actually haven't printed anything with the 2 heads yet. I set it up, got everything calibrated, and then I was like, okay, I'm exhausted, and I haven't been able to make it back to the studio since.
Yeah.
So I'm just itching to go back in and get things started.
I'm hoping we can get you in there this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. I ate up a lot of time. But I actually haven't even gotten to the next day on my
Oh, really?
bobbin
I'm
yet.
on A. I'm going to learn to count backwards.
Wow. Already on A?
I'm already on A.
So you did 10 and B.
Yep.
Okay.
I just got to A.
That shows the difference in
And the
speed of plying.
how much I dislike chain plying with Tweety singles.
Oh, yeah? 'Cause
Yeah,
things get caught?
the Tweety bits will get caught in the like part where you're pulling back against it. At that like bend.
One of my 2-plies is A.
Oh.
So I know the Tweety bits, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I generally don't like to chain ply Tweety yarns for that reason.
I'm like nowhere near the end. Yeah, so we are not going to go till we're done plying because I think I would die. But we're gonna go for the hours, so we're not gonna shortchange. And then you can make me feel bad about not
finishing your plying?
not finishing my plying. You can't say that I didn't ply anything, but
I'm gonna make you take the wheel back to the couch so that it doesn't sit over here.
good idea. So we can also talk about the other project that you said you were going to do over
My loom?
over break.
It's
Your
not
loom.
done, but we made progress.
Yes. Now I feel like it's my fault we didn't finish it.
No, it's not your fault. I have a child who has wanted to go on many adventures.
That is true. You did go on many adventures with the Gab.
But we've got, what, 3 more bouts to go, and I think each bout takes us about 15 minutes or so.
Is that it? It feels like so much longer.
Yeah, we've kind of gotten the hang of things. I definitely want a spool rack or a warping wheel.
Yeah.
I think I want a spool rack more than a warping wheel. So.
The spool rack is the one with all the spools that you're just warping directly from?
Yeah.
What's a warping wheel?
A warping wheel is like a giant skein winder.
Okay.
But it's made so
Don't
that...
you have one of those?
No, I have a warping mill. It's not the same as a warping wheel.
So what's the difference?
You set it up so that you can, you can wind on, 10 yards of, a 2-inch segment, 10 yards, all at once. And then you don't have to wind things onto spools or bobbins for your warp. And then you can use that to tension off to the thing. So the problem I'm having is I warped my bouts on a warping mill and then pulled them off, chained them. And in that process, things have gotten a little bit tangled.
Yeah, things got a little bit felted
and I'm
together.
having to reestablish my crosses while I'm putting it into the tension box for this sectional beam. And it's just not going as smoothly as it could.
So if you have I can't remember what it's called now.
Spool rack?
Spool rack, yeah. I was going to call it a bobbin wall.
Basically.
If you have a spool rack, are you warping everything at once, though? So
no,
you don't need
you're still
sectional?
you're still doing 2 inches at a
Okay.
time. You put on as many bobbins as threads ends you're going to have in that segment.
Because you showed me a video once of something that was...
Oh, well, industrially, there are people who, fill up an entire spool rack and do the entire beam at the same time. You can do that. Industrially, that's what they do.
Yeah. Okay, I think I got to a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everything looks different on my bobbin now.
I really love the yellow bits in dumpster fire.
I think...
But my friend Christina has a union loom, and it has a bobbin rack built into the bottom of
really?
the... Yeah, it's built with a sectional beam, and it has a bobbin rack built into the frame of the loom.
Neat.
So she just puts her, cones of yarn on this board, and then can do each one of her sections. So it's really easy to warp that loom.
Interesting.
But that was a loom that was designed for production rug weaving. Yeah. As a cottage industry.
I'm curious to know if all of you are plying as well, or if you're working on something else at this time.
Or if you've already plied. Because
Or if
we
you've
know
already
we've
plied.
seen a lot of people who, plied as soon as they were done.
Yeah.
Or now that you've seen all the colors, if you have ideas of what you want to do with the yarn.
let's see. While we're waiting for answers on that, what else to discuss?
Do you have any crafting plans for 2026?
That's a good question. I want to finally get my BB-8 sweater done.
Yeah.
I think that's a must do.
Yeah.
I think I can definitely get Gab's scarf done by the end of the year.
Yeah.
If I put my attention to it.
I just dyed the yarn for the cabled cardigan they want you to make them.
What?
There's a cabled cardigan. You like complicated knitting, so you're knitting
I do,
the cabled cardigan.
But this is the first I've heard of it.
Oh, well, they wanted a particular colorway. They wanted Storm King for it.
This also might not be the first I've heard of it. I just have a terrible memory. So.
Yeah. So I dyed the yarn today for that.
Cool.
It's a cropped cardigan. Gab's tiny on top, so
yeah.
It won't take forever.
No, I don't like cables.
Yeah.
In
I'm
terms of
currently
other-
knitting a Farrell vest for them, so.
In terms of other craft, since you said craft, not just knitting,
Yes.
So I've talked before that I like doing models.
Mm-hmm.
I have, for a long time, wanted to do what's called candy coat on some relatively cheap, simple models. Candy coating is that look that you have for like hot rods where they shine, but they're it's not just like a silver shine, it's like a
Clear shine.
like a colored clear shine.
Okay.
Like
I'm on 9.
nice. Like if you dipped a caramel apple, right? That's why it's called candy coating. So I have all the stuff to do it. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, and it's been a couple of years. So I think I want to make sure that I try and do that painting project. Oh, and I need to finish the Jill was right sign.
Yes. You did make some progress
I
on
made some progress on that. So, Jill is often right. And
Not always. But
yeah, but it's like 90% hit rate. So I decided. Actually, I don't know where the idea originally came from. I think you joked that you just wanted a neon sign.
yeah, I
you
wanted
could
a
turn
neon
on.
sign because everybody acts like it's a surprise
So
when I'm right.
I designed one. I got the LED. I didn't learn how to do neon. Sorry, but I got all the LED stuff to make those fake neon signs, and I got all the pieces cut out. I got to do some soldering and glue that stuff together. So that's another craft I need to do for the year. Okay, before we get to you, let's get to some of the comments here. Iron Meg says, I've been doing ply on the fly with them, chain ply, but I've only gotten through about 5 days so far. Seesaw says, I've already plied, and I think I'm going to make the jaunty with mine.
Ooh.
Are you familiar with jaunty?
The only way I'm familiar with it is I know that a whole bunch of people are doing it because there's a jaunty along. So a lot of hand spinners I know are doing jaunty because I know I think Daedalus is sponsoring
For the jaunty
or
along.
collaborating for the jaunty along. So
Okay.
it's Andrew and Maury pattern.
Is it a shawl? Is it a sweater? Is it a what?
I think it's a shawl.
Okay. Seafarm. Wait. Yeah, Seafarm says, sea of yarn. Ha ha. Chain plying the second half along with you, completed the first half. And Becky Knit says, My wrist is still recovering, so I have only spun the first 3 days, but I've been able to knit, so I'm knitting some socks right now. Excellent. I'm glad you all have joined us, and I hope you recover well.
And gently.
Yeah. That's very strange. Okay. So on to you. What are your crafting plans for
So I did a
the
thing
new year?
this past year of, I have had, I mean, I have probably had the goal of trying to get my stash to fit in one place for probably a decade now.
Oh, not that long.
It feels like it. I keep on trying to find like one central place to put all my yarn and like all the yarn, so that I can find my yarn when I want to. And no matter how much I've been working at this, I still find yarn in strange places in the house. I would like that stuff happening. But I have like a baker's rack, wire rack, that is where I want all the yarn to live. Now, right now, there's too much yarn.
Well, there's yarn and fiber there.
No, there's just yarn there.
There?
Yeah, there's just yarn there. I mean, there's like 2 bats of yours on top.
Okay. You got bats up there?
Yes, you've got bats up there.
Ooh.
And so this has been my goal. I have tried various things to try to get me to, use up more than I bring in over the years.
I shouldn't tell you what the kids have said when they heard your goal.
What?
That
Did they laugh?
No, they're gonna take stuff from your stash and start hiding them in different places in the
house. Yeah, Gab. Yeah. So I was just like, I've tried like cold sheep, doesn't work. I've tried like, we'll just like track what comes out in finished objects. That doesn't work. I finally found something that works, that motivates me, which is 50 balls. And
a year. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the size of the ball is. So sometimes that ball or cake or skein is
a leftover from a project.
It's a leftover and it's just a couple grams. Sometimes it's 8 ounces.
Yeah.
They all count the same.
And it doesn't matter if you do it or if I do it. If it comes out of your stash,
if it comes out of my stash, it counts. Hand spun ads is treated like an acquisition because it is increasing the yarn. Mm-hmm. I'm not so worried about my fiber stash as I am my yarn stash. Strangely, well, most of my fiber stash is HipStrings stash. Like my personal fiber stash is not problematic whatsoever. Because the HipStrings stash takes up, I have a nicely sized studio where all that lives. And so I did that this year, and I could still buy stuff, but it made sure that if I bought stuff, I made sure I used stuff.
Yeah.
It gave me incentive to use up scraps, which is why the little balls count. And I actually ended the year with a net decrease of 65 balls of yarn.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think I did like 3 of them.
So I was like, well, that worked because I actually stuck to it throughout the year, and I've never done any other sort of stash down that I stuck to for an entire year.
Yeah. Oh, this is easy to keep track of.
Yeah, I have a Google Keep that is balls. And when I use one up, I get to add a number. And if I bring one in, then I take away numbers.
Nice.
So it's easy to track. There's no weighing or anything. No extra steps, except keeping track. So, I've been debating whether or not to stick to the 50. And I carried over the 15 from last year. So I've got to carry over 15. I'm debating whether or not to increase my goal to 75, which seems reasonable. 100 would be a little bit, perhaps too far.
Well, I mean, you only hit 65.
Yeah.
So it is an increase, and it's going to
Yeah.
be more effort.
But there won't be an SSK, which is where I made most of my acquisitions.
Okay.
Because I don't get a ton of time to shop at Maryland, so I don't acquire much at Maryland besides fleeces and tools. So
Fleeces don't count.
fleeces don't count until they're made into yarn.
Okay. It's a problem for future, Jill.
It's a problem for future Joe.
Well, I keep on telling everybody, you know what, as long as you store it on an outer wall of your house, you're adding insulation, so it's fine. And you are storing out an outer wall of our house, so
Yeah,
it's fine.
that's not actually an outer
I
wall.
mean, okay, you're right. Fine.
It's an interior wall of the basement. I don't think it counts.
I'm trying to help you here. Come on.
I know. But it's more, I just want to be able to find all of my yarn in a certain amount of space.
Yeah.
So I've got probably a couple more years of this so that it'll all fit where it ought to fit. If I stick to the 50. Because a lot of those do end up being rather small. And a lot of my yarn is very densely packed into its bins.
Yeah. Where's the weirdest place you've ever found yarn?
Well, I mean, I was looking for some stuff from high school for Gab. Gab, one of my band medals from high school.
Yeah.
And I was looking in all sorts of random bins we had. We had some random bins underneath the stairs of the basement. I opened it up, and it was yarn and fabric. And I did not know that I had put stuff there because generally any craft supplies I try not to put in an inaccessible storage location.
Yeah.
And that was an inaccessible storage location.
Right.
I had basically given up on those craft supplies and put them in timeout. And I've done that before. There was a time I opened up a black trunk, like one of those door lockers. Yeah. I thought it was just random stuff, and it turned out to be all yarn and fiber.
I remember that.
That I had completely forgotten about.
Yeah. I remember that one.
I was mad about that one.
So this is so funny because most people would be like, "Oh, yay, surprise fiber, surprise yarn," but you're mad about it.
Yeah, because I'd forgotten about it, and it was good stuff.
You're mad that you'd forgotten about it.
I was mad I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And so that's part of my desire to have all my stash visible and not hidden away is I don't want to forget about it. I like my stash. I want to use it. That's why I bought it, not to look at, to use.
Yeah.
So it just makes me upset that I haven't gotten to use it. Okay, I'm on 8. On Moonstone.
You're gonna make it halfway there.
That'd be nice to finish one of the bobbins.
You're getting pretty close. I am not.
You've got a nice fingering weight yarn there over there.
Which I actually was shooting for and I'm really happy about.
I think I'll end up with a DK, which is what I like to work with, so.
It's not necessarily that I like working with fingering weight, but I don't naturally spin fingering weight. So
yeah.
When I do the Base12, I try to challenge myself to spin thinner.
Oh man, I have not been spinning. Since I did Base12 on an e-spinner, I haven't been doing a lot of treadling lately. I should do that. My body would be happier with me. I've been doing a lot of knitting.
So I think that would be an interesting thing to talk about, that you have found that spinning is actually a really important, physical therapy for you to some degree.
Yeah, so I've had back issues since I was a teenager, and I've had 2 lower back surgeries. And definitely for me, like, I can definitely overdo it and make things unhappy, but I have actually found that using a treadle wheel, really helps. I've got like a muscle on the right, like top right of my knee, my right leg, that tends to get a little weak. But you use it when you treadle. So if I'm in good habit, I try to spend 30 minutes a day. And that keeps everything happy. Because if I do like multi-hour spinning, then my body is unhappy with me too.
Yeah. So it's about having a happy medium. Don't overdo it, but definitely make sure you
regularly do it.
Do it.
So, but I have started spinning again. I finished up some samples of buoy, and I'm now spinning samples for class for Maryland Winterfest, which is at the end of this month.
And I got to keep reminding you to spin those samples for that article.
That isn't spinning. That is yarn I already have.
You just need to find it.
I just have to find the yarn and like make some mini skeins.
Okay.
But thank you for that reminder. I think I've still got a couple seats in my Understanding Blends class that's on Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. So. And I started working on my keynote lecture, which is free to attend. Which is kind of
And what is the topic of the keynote lecture?
It's a year in the life of an independent fiber artist and dyer. So I'm kind of going through kind of what my year looks like. What was amazing is I was looking at a review of my Etsy shop this year. And I know like everybody likes to think that like things are really seasonal. My Etsy shop, my sales were basically the same throughout the entire year.
Really?
Yeah. Like within $500 for like every month. And February, which like I know for a lot of people is kind of a dead time. I think some people might have been self-soothing in February. February was my best sales for Etsy. Now that's not necessarily the same for my main website.
I was going to ask, how did that work for your main website?
My main website's different because that's what powers my in-person sales, as well as all of my big pre-orders. So all of Base12 goes through. That has more variability. So I think that the website I think has more variability. But I was surprised to see that Etsy was almost flat for the entire year. Now, Etsy sales have been down this year.
By the way, Bags by Carol says, so excited for the weekend. I'm signed up for your classes and lecture.
So am I. Though I'm going to be exhausted by the end of
What weekend is that?
It is January 24th and 25th.
Great.
So it's
when
in
she
like
said for the
3
weekend,
weeks.
I'm like, is it this weekend?
No. It's like 3 weeks from now.
You should probably also talk about the big changes to the Etsy site.
Yeah, so I made some changes actually to both. So for HipStrings.com, free shipping is now at $50 and above. I just cannot continue to absorb the increase in shipping costs, along with added costs for everything else. So it'll allow me to minimize how much I have to raise prices elsewhere. And then on Etsy, because I got rid of the free shipping thing for $35 for Etsy, and I can't quite figure out how to set a new free shipping thing. Etsy now has an automatic, at least for January, we're going to try this out, a free 10%, an automatic 10% off when you spend $50 or more. But shipping is charged on Etsy, and it's calculated. So, and I do refund like excess if it's crazy, like a couple dollars off.
But you found that 10% is about equivalent to
the
shipping
10% is about what you get for the free shipping.
Yeah.
It helps that most of my items all weigh the same amount.
Buy by the kilo, sold by the ounce.
Yeah.
So yeah, little bit of changes for both the shops, but hopefully that'll be okay for you guys, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure you understand.
All right. Let's see if I can finish up this set of days.
And I started thinking about putting together class kits for Maryland Sheep and Wool, because I will be teaching in person as well.
Are those classes already defined as well?
No, they have not been announced. I mean, I have a contract. I can tell you I'm teaching 6 half-day classes. Those, I think, get announced in February after Maryland Winterfest.
Oh, good.
So, there's going to be...
I know you're really excited about all the extra classes you're going to do this year.
Everything is something I've taught before, but one I haven't taught in person before. Or 2 I haven't taught in person before. 2 are Maryland on virtual classes that I'm doing in person. And now I'm at 7.
If you can finish 7, then you're done. You're done with the bobbin, right?
Yeah. I think that's how things work.
So I am just about done with the next switch of days.
With 3? Are you down 3 on each or 2 on each?
Just this will be 2 on each.
Okay. So you're down 4 days.
Yeah. So, which is about right for...
Yeah, 2-ply versus 3-ply?
2-ply versus 3-ply?
Oh, I'm really liking how this gunmetal is showing up when it's plied.
So Natalie Grant just says, good gravy, and I'm not sure what it's in response to, but...
I'm guessing the whole 6 classes at Maryland Sheep and Wool. Yeah, they didn't pick any full-day classes. So I'm going to have to pace myself. I usually... my half-day classes are pretty intense.
Yeah. Well, because you try to fit a full day of stuff
yes,
in a half
I
day.
do. I want you to get your money's worth.
Yeah, but I've taken... I've taken half-day classes with some people, and I'm like, this should have been a 2-hour class. Come on. I remember
I like to say that I am more of a college professor than a high school teacher.
I remember there was one class I took. I'm not going to name any names or say where it was, but it was basically, here's my handout. These are the samples that I did with this technique. You guys try. Let me know if you have any questions. And it was a half-day class. I was like, that...
It was just supervised?
Yeah, and it wasn't even that supervised either, so... I was not very pleased.
Whereas I think my, like... I've been trying to minimize how many fibers I have in my class kits. And I think my minimum, like, number of fibers in a class kit is, like, 5.
And how many hours is that class?
For a 3-hour class.
Okay. So less than half an hour on each fiber.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is that I've taken classes where you learn a technique on just one type of fiber.
Right.
And then I go home and try it on something else, and I cannot get it to work.
Right.
Because I figured it out on one fiber, but I didn't figure it out, like, I didn't grok it enough to be able to apply it, like,
right.
universally. And so that's why I make people try the same technique or the same idea on different fibers. Because also, like, sometimes if you're just trying on one, it might not work for you on that one fiber.
Yeah.
But trying it on a different fiber, it might work. And everybody deserves to, like, walk out of class with, like, success.
And by the way, Natalie Grant says, yes, I was the same class, and she was saying good gravy too.
Like, I always go into classes and I tell people, okay, my goal for class is that nobody cries.
I mean, I've had teachers
I don't want you to ever get so frustrated that you feel like walking away or you give up.
I love the times.
And I want you to talk to me and bring up if you feel like you're getting to that point.
I love the times where you had a long enough class where you're like, all right, break time, we're going to read this kid's book.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do it for supported spindle.
Which you had me put those kids' books up into the attic.
Yeah, I might have to go and retrieve them. Because I thought I saved the one that I use for teaching.
Nope.
I thought I set it aside.
I told you to set it aside. You didn't want to. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because people will keep on doing it and their muscles get tired and their hands get tired because they're doing something new and they won't take a break.
What is the book that you like to use for helping people relax?
That one is, I think it's called like Trying, but I think the last name of the author is Yamada.
Okay.
But it's like this person who's trying to be an artist. And they go to train with a master. And they see the master, and the master does what they do so effortlessly. And they get frustrated because they try it and they don't. And the master talks about how, no, you start off like by making a ton of mistakes. And you have to learn from your mistakes and you have to keep trying. And eventually you'll get there. But you really have to be patient with yourself.
All right.
And it's why, like, sometimes you're much better at teaching people how to support spindle than I am. Because people watch me do it and, like, they're intimidated.
This was going to be a compliment, and then it turned into a backhanded one.
No, it's not a backhanded compliment.
You are better at teaching people supported spindling because you suck at it so much.
You're not bad at it, but you're more relatable.
Ah, okay. All right. By the way, Sea of Yarn says, took your supported spindle class last year. Was glad to have all the fiber prep options. Learned so much from each. We have reached the top of the hour.
Oh, you gotta let me look how close I am. You gotta let me.
I do see how close you are. I will let you. I was going to go ahead and start the dad joke.
But it may take longer.
I'm kind of just sitting here and thinking if I can, like, how long I can extend this out.
This fiber matches your beard.
Okay, you've got a small enough amount left that I can.
Okay, you can start your joke.
I can extend my joke long enough. So we have this friend who's a mathematician, right?
Yeah, we do.
But she doesn't do math with numbers.
Right.
Right. She does crazy math with symbols and stuff. Not like algebra. It's like squiggles and like pictures of houses. Like it's serious, like very strange math.
Yes. Symbolic math.
But did you know why? She has a fear of negative numbers. She'll stop at nothing to avoid them. Did you get it?
Yes. I'm really glad that you ended Base12 with a math joke. I'm really proud of you for that.
Thank you. Iron Meg says, have a great evening. Bags by Carol says, thank you so much. This has been fun, and I've learned a ton just watching.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's why we do this. We're so happy that you all joined us. For those of you that are not watching this live, thank you as well. Feel free to reach out, join the Discord. We're around year round. Thank you for whoever just bought something as well. We're around year round. We love talking about stuff. We love hashing and rehashing and teaching, and we're going to try and do more videos. I guess that's the other craft thing we're going to try and do this year.
Yes, I do want to do more videos.
So with that, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.